All right, man. Look, y'all done made me pull the Kangol out. Y'all been talking too crazy out here. If you know about the Kangol, you're a part of the culture. Run the intro. Let's get to it. What's up, gang? Welcome back to episode six, of The Assist. My name is Dylan, and I am your host, the one that's going to rock with you today and bring you up on all the things happening within the New Orleans Pelicans organization. We are a no network show where the no desires to bring fans closer to every single team you support within the Gulf Coast. If you're a Tulane fan, welcome home. If you're an LSU Tiger fan, how about them Tigers? Welcome home. If you're a Saints fan, welcome home. If you're a Pelicans fan, welcome home. Soon to be, if you're a Gold fan, welcome home. If you like gaming, whatever you like, you could find it here. What T.I. say? You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. Yes. First off, I know you see the hat, and I know all of my people who really was outside in the 90s, 2000s, not even the 2000s, the 80s, 90s. You see the Kangol and you know I'm on time today. Feel me? Like, you know, Dylan didn't come to play with us today because the man's put on a Kangol hat. And you only put that on for two reasons. And I'm going to let you go ask your favorite cousin what are the two reasons you put a Kangol hat on. So there's a lot that's been going on within the Pale sphere over this last week. You see, first off, we got a picture released, multiple pictures released of Zion Williamson from his camp where Zion looks sleek and slim. Lee Anderson is reported as saying that Zion is down to 281 pounds. That is smaller than he was at Duke. But Anderson went on to say he's not done. The goal for Zion is to start the season off at 272 pounds. He was 284 at Duke, blocking three-point shots into the fifth row. Imagine the athleticism. Imagine what we're about to see Zion do at 272. Imagine the amount of torque he's going to be able to put on those muscles and not have to worry about an injury. Imagine the speed, the burst that he's going to have now that he's going to have all that excess weight off of him. Imagine the possibility of seeing Zion eclipse his record playing numbers last year and play almost 80 and blow people's minds because that's a foreign concept in this iteration of the NBA. Imagine a Zion at 272. I don't think the NBA is ready. And I saw a good question. I think I saw it on Instagram or Twitter somewhere. Someone was like, if he gets down that small, will that take away from his effectiveness? Because, you know, he's known for being a brute and muscular. The correct answer is no. Zion is naturally strong. I saw Trey Murphy say on the podcast that Zion will just walk in the weight room. I think he said like 285 or 185, something like that, and just toss it. Easy. That he's one of them dudes that you just saw on the playgrounds that like is an elementary school student that the teachers was asking for a birth certificate or the parents were asking for a birth certificate out the gate because there was no way on earth that this child could be a fourth grader. Zion is that kid. Y'all seen the video of the dudes eclipsing. That's the correct verbiage. Eclipsing the small private school kid that was trying to guard him. That Zion's been built different. And so I don't think losing this excess weight is going to make him weaker. If anything, it's going to add to the strength that he already had and give him that agility, the mobility that he hasn't experienced in his entire career, both in college or the NBA. I think this is just if you're a Pelicans fan and you saw that picture, you should be hyped about where your team is going. You should be hyped about what the future looks like. We have become so, like, finding things wrong and all this thing. Like, well, oh no, what if he loses his strength because y'all were just mad at him because he had too much weight. And now that he's trying to get in the best shape of his life, we're mad at him for trying to get in the best shape. Make up your mind. Make up your mind. I'm excited about it. 271 is still really, really good. And like I said before, Zion is one of those naturally strong guys. Just imagine him at 271 being mobile and able to navigate and work the angles on a post player in the small ball five lineup or be able to dominate and be even faster Recently, he's been as fast as point guards. Losing that amount of weight would probably make him faster than most point guards, because now in a straight line drive, you're going to bounce off of him because of his strength, but now he's fast enough to even run past you and move around you. So I'm excited to see that. It is a great thing, and shout out to him for putting that camp on for free, by the way. I know a lot of times us in Louisiana, when we have certain individuals who seem accessible to us, we kind of treat them as normal. We do that a lot with our rappers and things of that nature. If a rapper is around too much, we treat them as casual, and sometimes there are certain crimes that happen, which shouldn't be so. That'll be a soap opera that I save for another day. We treat Zion as if he's normal. Like we're like, oh, that's Zion. Yeah, that's Zion. And that's mind-boggling me, because that's not just Zion. That's the same Zion that was just in Paris doing a shoe run. That's the same Zion that's selling shoes, and he's not even operating at his full capability yet. I have every pair of Zions to come out. Yes, I am that goofy, and I will put on the clown makeup right now. I have every pair of Zions to ever come out except one pair, and that's the low top straps of the new version of them. I got to get those. Those are elite, especially the ivory color one. Whoo, hard, pow. I love it. So this is a Zion that is not just known to the Carolinas. He's not just known to New Orleans. No, this is one of the top players in the entire NBA. Barring injury, I would argue with anybody and their mama that he's top 10 right now, barring injury. So to have this type of guy with this ilk put on a free camp for all of his people back home, bravo, brother. Bravo. More life, more love to you. Cannot wait to see you. There was also another report that came out. I think Will Guillory, one of the greatest reporters New Orleans has had in any sports field. Bravo to you, Will. Commend you for all the hard work you've been putting on, brother. I'm a fan of you. Will Guillory just broke news that the Pelicans are going to have a players-led training camp, if you will, in Cali coming up, and everybody will be there but Daniel Theus. Now, this is a different shift, because usually Zion is doing his own thing, Brandon is doing his own thing, and then Zion won't come together with everyone, but everybody else will come together, and then they'll kind of just meet with Zion as the year goes on. This is different because they're all meeting up together right now. I would like to think that a certain guy by the name of DeJounte Murray has a little bit to do with that. I think that, coupled with his mature approach to his craft, is also encouraging him to be around his teammates earlier, because he saw how dominant he could be against the top tier players in the world. Zion was single-handedly carrying the Pelicans to a victory in that play-in game against the Lakers before he blew a tire, as my grandfather would say. He was single-handedly doing it. And so to experience that level of success, even when you're not at your best, I highly suspect that is motivating Zion, not just to lose the amount of weight he's lost, but to also want to be around his teammates sooner than he usually is. I cannot wait to see what comes out of this camp. I think we're going to see the best iteration of the Pelicans this coming season, because everybody's motivated. I know some of us, including myself, is a little nervous about the Brandon Ingram situation and how the dynamics of that are going to play out. But I feel as though we are discrediting Brandon Ingram's mental makeup when we have this ideology that he's going to come into camp angry and just trying to start chaos. That's not really Brandon. Like, Brandon loves Jose. That's Brandon. He loves his teammates. He's not really the type of, Brandon loves Trey. He's not really the type of guy to just go full. He's not Jimmy Butler, for lack of better verbiage. Jimmy is about his money, and he's about his respect, and it's about principle with him. That's who Jimmy is. And Jimmy is a loud guy. That naturally, in everything Jimmy does, he does it loud. B.I. is not that guy. Like, B.I. is a quiet dude that understands he's coming off of one of his worst seasons of his career as a pro, and he understands that he has not been available. Not on top of that, his lackluster performance in FIBA. Like, he understands, or the Euro Cup, whatever it's called, his lackluster performance there. He understands that, I want my bag, and I'm not gonna waver on that. But I understand where they're coming from because this is a business. And yes, I believe in loyalty. Yes, I've invested in this community and this team. Yes, I believe I should be taken care of. But the best way for me to prove to them that they should be taking care of me is to step on that dance floor and dance better than anybody else could. And to step on that dance floor and remind them that what they saw in that Phoenix series was not a shot in the pan or just something that happens once. No, no, no. I am really that dude. I am that. Notice I didn't say that. That dude. 24/7, 365. I am him. I'm Himothy. Shout out to my girl for Lauren. She hates when I say that. But I really believe we're going to get that Brandon Ingram coming in. So you take that Brandon Ingram. You take a motivated Zion. And you take DeJounte Murray. And yes, I know. We don't know what the center position is going to look like. But I believe that if you have those three guys and you figure out a way to talk CJ into actually being okay, not taking the most shot attempts on the team, you talk Trey Murphy into being even more aggressive, because I'm going to be honest, I think the kid should be taking even more shots, and so on and so on. You got yourself something moving. You got something to look forward to. I am not like everybody else in this where I think there's more hope in it. Personally honest. I mean, I know we ain't got Steph Curry on this team and Klay Thompson and and things of that nature, but when was the last time we saw Golden State have a center worth talking about? That Kevon Looney, and that no disrespect to Kevon. Kevon is a solid center. Well, Draymond Green is the center of the Golden State Warriors. And I know, again, play style matters. I know that you want to be fast when you got a guy like Steph Curry. You need a high IQ guy, and Draymond can guard 1 through 5, and he's a nominally probably first, second ballot Hall of Famer. I understand, but I'm just making a point that you don't need a star caliber guy at that center spot. You don't need. I mean, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively are just played in the finals just last year. I mean, you just need a guy who knows his role and is willing to capitalize his role on the team. Simple as that. And I'm at a spot after watching a lot of film. I don't think Zion needs as much of floor space and big like we think he does. I think there needs to be more schematic input or more schemes put in to be able to alleviate space for Zion. I think there's a certain level of graphic that a guy who can dominate from the dunker spot, or gravity, not graphic. I think there's a certain level of gravity that a guy that can dominate from the dunker spot calls for. You can't help, because if you help on Zion and you got a guy who's 70, 80, 60% from the dunker spot on floaters, you're going to have to pick what you want. And I think Masih could be that. I think Daniel Theis can stretch the floor when you want to stretch the floor. I'm of the mindset that if they do not go out and get another big, it's not the end of the world. And I know I'm crazy. I know I shouldn't be thinking this. I know I should be turning over tables and we need to make a move. If we don't make a move, the world is going to end. Carlo looked great in the summer league. Looked phenomenal inside and outside game. There's so many ways to win. It's just about, do you have the patience, the time, and the schematic input from a offensive savant that can make it work. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I love what I see from Zion. I know I went on a little bit of tangent. Like I told you, I'm Kangol Dylan today. And when it's Kangol Dylan, this is a pop-off episode. I'm going to be honest with y'all, because I'm feeling some type of way, y'all, like for multiple different reasons. First off, we signed Javonte Green. I like to sign a 6'4" guard forward. Plays a lot like Najee, and probably will fill that Najee void. He shot 60% from the field, which is really, really good. 12.7 rebounds. Does not pass the ball well. He passes, but he doesn't pass the ball well. He doesn't put his players in position to score. I mean, you average 0.6 assists a game. That's a telltale sign. So we know what he's here to do. He's here to hustle. He's here to play that Josh Hart type role. Hey, Josh, we'll talk about you in a second. But he's here to play that Josh Hart, Najee Marshall type of role, just a hustle guy, energy guy, plays well, 31 years old, so he's a veteran guy, not young coming into the league, not young and coming into the league. He kind of knows who he is, and he's going to give you what he's already given. From what I've been hearing from a lot of the Chicago Bulls fans, they are heartbroken that he's gone. And that's a telltale sign. When another team is heartbroken because you got one of their players, that says a lot about that player. So I'm excited about that, excited to see what he does. That's the plus. The minus is we let go of Matt Ryan. 45% from three. 45% from three. And I think he only played for 14 games. Yes, he had injuries, but a lot of DNPs. 45% from three is not good enough to be on your team when your primary players are mid-range and in dominant scorers. 45% from three. Listen here, man. I don't know a lot about, and I saved the tax apron and all the salary cap. I'm not going to disrespect the guys that value that. I value, but I'm not going to disrespect the guys that study that part of the game, the analytical minds. I'm not going to disrespect that. But you find somewhere on your team for a guy that shoots 45% from three, period. You find minutes for that guy. That's not a guy that you say, oh, okay. And it's not like he was shooting 45% from three in the preseason or in the summer league. These were real live action regular season buckets he was giving you. And now he's just on the open market. I got a feeling we're going to see a little dusty team from Los Angeles in purple and gold show up at his front door and say, hey, best friend. Hey, big head. You want to come home? You want to come back? And they're going to make something out of nothing. Please get out of it. Matt, listen, I saw that you're in Colorado. Get out of the West. You don't need to be in Colorado. Dear God, Denver don't need you, brother. Denver don't need you. Go somewhere in the East. Go to the Sixers are paying people all this money. I don't know how much money they got left over. Let's see how much money they got. They in the tax. They ain't got no much. They ain't got no money left. Listen, go somewhere East, please, because I got a feeling that nightmare that we previously had stained in our head that was finally erased because he was on our team this past season. That night, you know, the nightmare, the game-winning shot that we were like, I can't believe Matt Ryan did that. I got a feeling he's going to try and trump that next year. I don't understand. We're going towards a floor spacing league. You tried the Twin Tower roll. It was successful, but it couldn't hold up physically. Why would you not want to have a break if needed 45% three-point shooter on your team? I'm not computing. And maybe it's because they believe in Antonio Reeves. Maybe there's something really there that has them thinking, you know what, we don't need this guy. Antonio's going to take that spot. Or maybe they believe in my dog Hawk. And we're going to talk about that in a second because I've been seeing a lot of y'all act crazy with these trade machines, talking this crazy stuff. And I don't understand y'all's concept of wanting to trade a guy that was top 3 rookie of the year competition before his coach said, I'm good, love, and joy. I don't understand this. I'm perplexed. I'm not saying, let me focus. So Matt Ryan is no longer a Pelican. Thank you for your service, Matt. You did great work here, brother. I'm a fan, always will be a fan. So in essence, we let go of Matt, signed Javonte Green. We signed Trey Jemison, which is one of my friends, Jacob Compton's favorite player. Trey Jemison, he's a stout post player. He had a great run in Memphis. I thought they would have re-signed him, but we picked him up on a 2-way deal, and I'm excited to have him in our organization again. I think it was a mistake to let him go in the first place, especially when Liam Robinson never panned out because of injuries. I think you should have kept Trey in the in-house because who knows? That's another break if needed individual who is a hard-nosed, feisty, will fight you to the death type of post player who's just going to do all the little things well. He's not going to wow you with shooting or things like that. He's athletic, but that's not really his strength. His strength is he does all the little things well that no one else is willing to do. So we signed him as well. So we signed Javonte, signed Trey, and we let go of Matt. And we let go of Zion's weight. I love it. That's me being sarcastic outside about everything else outside of the weight that Zion let go. Moving forward, Josh Hart, come to the front. Take a seat, my brother in Christ. Take a seat. This past weekend, my good sir, you decided to go out of your way while talking to Louisiana legend, not just New Orleans, Louisiana legend, Dwayne Carter is his government name. Y'all might know him as Lil Wayne. You decided to look him in his eyes and start off your question by saying, I don't think anyone has ever been excited about being traded to New Orleans. And then you commence to ask your question. Why? Why did you feel a need in that moment to throw a shot at New Orleans? What on the inside of you said, hey, let's go out on a limb and say something that doesn't even need to be said because I've been gone for basically 2 years now. Let's just go say some stuff. Why? Why? Are you the same guy that David Griffin reportedly said that as soon as the trade went down, you demanded and pleaded and said, please do not redirect me to another team. I want to be in New Orleans. Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? Are you the same guy that when you walked in the doors, you were talking glowingly about everything you thought you had there's a purpose for you? You were excited. Out of everybody in the trade, you were the most excited. Lonzo, we all knew ain't want to be here. His dad told us he ain't want to be here. B.I., no one knew anything because he barely spoke outside of the time that he decked Chris Paul in the face. Kudos to you about that, but we're going to let that go. But why? Why, brother? You could have just went on with your life and asked Lil Wayne that question and been totally fine and no one would have blamed you. Now, mind you, do I think we as fans are overreacting a little bit? Of course. Of course, because honestly, I would highly suspect that outside of DeJounte Murray, shout out to you for stepping up and letting everybody know that ain't been your experience. As soon as the trade went down, you was litty. Shout out to you. Outside of you, the common theme of players coming to New Orleans was always oh man, they don't take basketball serious. And this was a lot of it was put in by the analysts and the optics and things of that nature, but a lot of it was facts. Were the Pelicans using the same trainer sometimes as the Saints? Yes. Were the Pelicans as cared for from a organization, not a player, from an organizational standpoint as the Saints? No, they were not. But those things have changed. The training center is the complex is currently being renovated. Does the Smoothie King Center need to be renovated? Yes, it does. But we just renovated the Dome, brother. So why you couldn't just keep it 100 and keep it love? Now you about to experience the fire. Fans, but y'all need to relax too, though. Because it's partially, he was telling facts. Players talk to each other. He wasn't just saying that as his experience. These players, before they come to New Orleans, before they come to Louisiana, they have conversations with their friends. And their friends tell them what they think about the city, what they think about the issue. This is not an Eric Gordon situation, team. We do not need to break the glass and press the kill Josh Hart button. You don't need to. Because if you asked a multitude of players outside of DeJounte Murray, the guy, they probably would have said the same thing outside of CJ, because CJ actually said, I'd like to go there. Could you trade me there? Again, the more I talk, the more I realize that bro really was tripping. He really was out of pocket. But anyway, I'm going to just say this. Yes, Josh Hart was wrong in going out of his way to say something fugazi about the city, about coming to the city. But he was just speaking with a mindset of what was the general consensus. There you go. The general consensus amongst players about New Orleans. A lot of them, when they hear they're going to New Orleans, their brain instantly thinks the Saints, their brain instantly thinks small market, and they're like, oh, what are we going to do there? But then they get here and they realize, oh, this is really weird. They love you down here. Like, you really that guy down there. That's a common thing. So just chill, y'all. And I know y'all like, see, he going to make us look bad to other free agents. Other free agents ain't going to want to come here. No, he not. No, he not. Because guess what? Before they come here, they do this thing called, they basically do a recruiting trip, for lack of better verbiage, where they come and see the city and all these things. They have their families come and check it out. They don't just call on the phone, hey, we want to sign you this much. And it's like, all right, cool. No, there's conversations that are had. There are meals that are had in the city. There's moments where you're in the environment and you feel how it's going to feel there. They aren't going to just hear Josh Hart say this and say, oh, no, I'm not going there. Like, I mean, if that was the case after Anthony Davis, we would be dead by now. Because Anthony Davis was, honestly, if we're going to be honest, outside of that championship run in the bubble, we got the best years of AD. So, I mean, when he left and he said, it's my time, I'm out of here, and never even sent us a thank you note about how we supported him all the years, bought his jersey, bought everything, supported a unibrow, which is diabolical now that I think about it, that we had our kids out here drawing unibrows on their face supporting that. Never mind, I digress. But, if after he left, it would have been nothing. But we still here. We still here running it. Still here. So chill and pump the brakes on the Josh Hart hate. Yes, he deserves a little bit of the smoke. But if y'all be in the Smoothie King Center talking, oh, boo, we hate Josh Hart, don't have revisionist history. The man really supported the city when he actually put on the jersey. Let me ask you something. When you first, say for instance, if you got traded from Los Angeles, you're living in Los Angeles, you're living in your favorite place, wherever it is, and you were a kid when you came to that place. You were 19, 20, 21 when you came to that place. And then all of a sudden, your mama just told you, hey, we're about to up and go move to a small town. We're about to go up and move to a smaller location. And they're hyping up like, hey, it's going to be dope. They're going to have some amazing parties. The culture's cool. But you're leaving a place that you've grown up in, basically. You leaving a place where you kind of experience your, life, basically. How would you feel? It would take you getting to that place and experiencing that place to say, hey, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Hey, this is actually fun. This is better than the place I was at because these people actually love the game. Where I was currently at, they just had bells and whistles and they all, love plastic surgeons. If you got that, you got that. But if you didn't, let it fly. Kangol Dylan. I told y'all he a different dude when the Kangol hat's on. You dig, yes, Sirski. But, they addicted to a whole bunch of other stuff over there. But these guys, if you love them, they going to give you the shirt off their backs. Let's just be real with ourselves. Sometimes we think we judge people not as we wish to be judged. That's some scripture there, but I digress. Moving forward in this show, I've been seeing a lot, and again, Kangol hat Dylan. There's no real structure to this show. This is really me popping off some thoughts of some things I've been seeing online. I've been seeing a lot of people. Let me backtrack. So it's not been a lot of people. After the Matt Ryan waiving and signing Javonte Green, the Pelicans are now $1.6 million above the luxury tax. Now, this is a major situation because the tax distribution this year is at a record high. I think Bobby Marks reported that it's at $18.2 million. That's a lot of money, people. That's a lot of money to not get because of $1.6 million, especially when your owner is Gail Benson. Now, we've seen David Griffin multiple times say that when it's time to go over the tax, we're going to go over the tax, we're going to do it, we're going to go get a guy or something of that nature. They're not doing that. You're not going to let $1.6 million let you stop you from taking on a lump sum more of money. But this is where and so let's just get that out of the way. I know y'all are like, you don't need the money, Gail. You're a billionaire. No, she don't need it, but she want it. I don't need to go eat out anymore. But if I don't feel like cooking, I'm going to go eat out. I don't technically need another pair of Zion shoes. But if I got the bread, I want them, I'm going to buy them. We don't need a lot of things. But if we can acquire it, we going to get it. And that's so to ask Gail Benson, hey, don't go get this huge lump sum of money because you're a little bit away from it. Just ride it out. 1.6 million. There is going to be a move made before the deadline to get us below the tax threshold so that she can get that money. The move that I'm tired of seeing people talk about is Jordan Hawkins being traded. I said what I said and take it how you want. Y'all are willing to trade Jordan Hawkins when you have him under control and you're a small market, when you've got a guy who's literally told you he wants his money and you don't want to pay him. And so now you're at a stalemate. And while I think he's going to have a good year and while I think it's going to benefit you, you'd rather go around him, trade another guy in order to alleviate the pressures and to receive a certain amount of the money when you can actually go even deeper below the tax if you trade this guy who wants to leave. Let me stop saying that. He doesn't want to leave. He wants to get paid, and you don't want to pay him. So listen, man. Is Jordan Hawkins perfect, man? No. Not even in the little, he's not perfect. He's got some holes to his game. He had a horrible summer league. Horrible summer league. As a Jordan Hawkins apologist, I was literally fighting for my life in multiple group chats about him. But, I mean, there is something there. Last year, his numbers, 38% from the field, 36% from three, and 80% from the free throw line. Set on 7-2-1. Is that like burning the lights out? No, it's not. And I'll concede that point to you. I'll concede it. But he's 22. He's 22. And at his highest, he was top 3 behind an alien and a second-year rookie in the Rookie of the Year vote when he was actually in the rhythm playing and we had multiple people hurt and he was confident still. He was behind an alien, a guy who's probably going to win defense. Wemby's probably 1 year going to win Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and be first team All NBA in 1 year. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. It's going to happen soon. I think who's the last person to do that? Was it Jordan? Did somebody else do it since Jordan? But Wemby's going to do it, and it's going to happen. So he was behind a guy who has and we realize that Wemby is a rookie and he's got all the pundits saying in 4 years it's Paris. They not saying that because of Evan Fournier. No disrespect to Evan Fournier. They're not saying that because of the French bear, Teddy Bear. They're not saying it because of him. They're saying it because of Wemby. Wemby is the reason they're saying it. So he was behind a guy who everyone has already concluded is going to be all universe, not just world, all universe, because he's an alien. And a guy who is a second-year rookie. I mean, and both of them are 7'4 plus and can shoot, play defense, and do multiple things on the floor. And then it was a 6'4", 6'5 guard that, I mean, was giving championship teams 30. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? I get it. Is he what you need right now? Is he what you need? Well, is he what you need? Yes, because you just gave up Matt Ryan, so you need all the shooting you can get at this point. I know you got Antonio Reeves, and there's a lot of debate on it's going to be a battle in camp because Antonio Reeves is going to take a Hawk spot. Yeah, come with the smoke. I like it. You want smoke? I'm a steamer. Feel me? You want smoke? I'm a steamer. That's what Hawk need to be saying. Y'all want smoke? Congratulations, I'm a steamer. I'm that dude. Make any sense when you have Brandon Ingram sitting there saying, I want to get paid, and you're saying no? Do it right now. You can go to Utah and say, hey, Utah, we'll give you Brandon Ingram. You give us John Collins and Walker Kessler. They're liable to give you a pick in that deal. Why? Because they just signed Flip. So they just drafted Flip and signed Flip. They just signed another center, and John Collins is kind of an oddball in their spot because they just drafted Cody Williams from Colorado. So they have space, and John Collins' deal expires the same year as C.J. McCollum. So now you're going and you're going to have $50+ million off the books after next year to do whatever you want. Like what? And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, y'all know I'm not a pro at this. In the chat, someone correct me. And you're now below the tax threshold. Come on. Come on. Simple. It's not, you don't need to hit a home run. Just make the simple play. And now you got John Collins on your second unit. And imagine DeJounte Murray, John Collins in that PNR role. Jose and John. That's a savage second unit with Jose and John Collins. You know they're going to be on all type of time. That's crazy now that I think about it. But there are so many ways you can you can maneuver to make that $1.6 million disappear. I personally am not of the mindset that getting rid of Jordan Hawkins after 1 year, where at the beginning of the year he was well in his way in the top 3 Rookie of the Year. I believe that that's crazy to me personally. I think you got so many other avenues and ways that you can make it happen outside of that, but I digress. So to close up this episode, One, Zion, I can't wait to see you at 272, bro. The world ain't ready for it, but I'm ready for it. I'm queuing myself up to buy more.